How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I want to talk to you specifically about one stock today that I think you have to pay attention to, but I do want to hit on some other stocks in the market and kind of give a brief explanation for what's happening with them because we're seeing something interesting. We're seeing investors turn to higher risk stocks. I mean, you can see here the whole market's pulled back throughout the day, but if you look at least the positions I have, right? If you take a look at them, some of the highest, some of the most green positions are some of the smallest companies. I mean, take a look. Facebook's down 2%, Alphabet down 1%, Square, Disney. These companies are some of the largest on this list, along with Tesla. And then as you get smaller and smaller, we're seeing more and more upside. So I think what we're seeing is we are seeing a lot of people return to some of these higher multiple stocks that are very innovative. And there's one specifically that I want to talk about here today because I think we still are thinking too short term with this stock. And they announced some big news here today that I think really will show all the potential upside for it in the future. Now, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, I do appreciate that. Also, if you guys want to know what I'm buying and selling, I've been buying a ton of cryptocurrency throughout the year, and it's doing extremely well right now. Also, I've been buying some of these stocks which are vastly outperforming the market. Obviously, they've fallen down a lot, but we added a lot to our positions as they fell down. So if you guys want, you can check out the link down below to the Patreon. We had a bunch of people join yesterday at the beginning of the month. Today is the second best day of the month to join because you have the rest of the month. And we are doing a giveaway here in the next week or two. We're going to give away 100 Cardano. So definitely check that out underneath the video. You get a discount too if you sign up for a year. So definitely check it out. I should throw this up there too. So if you guys want, there is a link underneath the video to try out BlockFi. Also have had a lot of people joining that because of the interest rates you can get on crypto. Very good time to start buying crypto in my opinion if you haven't done that already. Now let's talk about a couple of the stocks here today that are moving. First of all, we have Tattooed Chef. If you don't know why Tattooed Chef is moving, first of all, I think it started to rally after their earnings just because it fell down so much. But since then, Wall Street Bets has come up and pushed up the price over the last few days, and we've had 3 or 4 green days in a row. We're actually up 45% from after the earnings report. So great time to be in Tattooed Chef, and it is my largest position. I will say too, in the Patreon, I did talk about options play that you can make a lot of money with, and it's essentially zero risk, but you can make about 5% over the next couple months without really risking anything. And if it actually goes through and the option gets actually exercised, you're going to make a ton of profit on that. So if you guys want, you can check that out underneath the video, like I said before. But there are some interesting options plays with Tattooed Chef because so many people are buying call options right now. In addition to that, we have CleanSpark, which is just another crypto stock, but it has been beaten down more than these other, some more than these other miners recently. I mean, Mara and Riot are both vastly underperforming for the day compared to CleanSpark. I think people realize that CleanSpark is going to outperform them in the future, and we've seen that a few days in a row, a few days recently where we had green in CleanSpark, and Mara and Riot just were vastly underperforming. And then we have Matterport. So Matterport is one of my top holdings. It's one that I've talked about a lot over the last couple of weeks because there are certain companies, specifically Motley Fool has talked about it very bullish, and they are going to be helping them sell some of their different yachts. So this is kind of big news because I think a lot of us didn't see this coming. I mean, if you don't know what Matterport is, they scan 3D projections of buildings and they build out these models. And you can use them to measure different things in your homes without even having to be there. So it's great for people working across the country. Recently, they launched Notes, which allows these different team members to interact and collaborate online. So you can, let's say we want to put a chair here and I was across the country and I was with someone else, or I was collaborating with someone else that was in a different spot, and we could say, okay, we want a chair here, but what kind of chair do we want? And we can put notes in there and pictures and stuff like that. So it's great for people that are working remotely. In addition to that, they have a lot of other big news that has been happening recently. They're going to digitize U.S. government facilities. So, I mean, that's a pretty big step for them and a good sign that they're working with the government. Also, they're going to have on-demand capture services in more cities in the US and the UK. So this came out recently. They have like a call on demand type of service in these cities, and this will be important to spread the word of Matterport, and I'm guessing it's a very profitable business. In addition to that, like I said, we have this here today, which is huge, right? Because there are a lot of different, I think there are a lot of different ways that Matterport can be used that we can't even think about yet. I never thought about luxury super yacht selling. I've never considered that. That was not anything that was on my radar. And now it's something that they are doing, and they're going to make money from it. They didn't release how this deal is set up. But when you start to think about all the different applications, I've talked about it in cryptocurrency before, where they could actually work with different cryptocurrencies to help provide real world data to help them carry out their smart contracts. I've talked about that. They have talked about it on their own website, how they've talked about cryptocurrency. In addition to that, we have insurance, right? If you are an insurance company and you can scan a building before and after, that's very easy to do, right? Because you can actually have different insurance contracts be triggered through cryptocurrencies. If this happens, then that happens. So if something's stolen, you actually have the 3D models to prove it. In addition to that, we have companies like Airbnb that might use this for hosts to help insure their properties. They can show everything that's in the building. So that would be awesome. You could actually hire someone to come and scan your property before and after guests. I mean, imagine if that starts happening too, where they partner with some of their, with this new digitization offering where they partner, and everyone in this city can now use their offerings or their digitization on demand, and you can just have them scan and then scan properties before and after different people. That would be awesome. Now, of course, there could be some downside to this company, but if we're looking at how quickly they're growing and the fact that they are a software as a service company that has so many different applications, you start thinking about it, and the 30 to 40x sales multiple that they're at right now, price to sales, starts to look attractive when you start looking years down the line at all the different implications that this company and all the different uses this company could have. So it is interesting to take a look at. Now, like I said, it is pretty expensive, but they are growing quickly. From Q1 to Q2, they increased revenue by about 10%. Also, their subscription service grew a good amount too. So I really like this company. I mean, I said this to the Patreon too. It's expensive, but we're gonna have more news like this where they just come out and they're working with some new company. While you might get a better price in the future, if you're looking 10 years out, I don't think you will be sad that you bought it $17. I think you'll think about it as a steal 10 years from now. But of course you have to do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. This one does fluctuate a lot, so it regularly goes up 5 to 10%, and then that happens on some big news, and then it falls back down about a couple percent or something like that. So it is awesome to see though that it is moving on some of this news and more people are getting into it. This is definitely some big money coming in, pushing this up 7% here today. Now let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know which of these companies you like the most and which ones you are watching out for. I do have Rocket Labs too, and they just announced some big news about a new facility. So they are going to be able to increase production. I own Rocket Lab, but I have such a small position, and I've been thinking about it as a very long-term play, so I'm not really paying attention too much to the news short term. Of course, though, it might bite me in the butt years down the line when I didn't increase my position like I probably should be doing. But let me know your thoughts on these companies. Again, if you guys want, there's that link to the Patreon underneath the video to see what I'm buying and selling, and there's a link underneath the video to start up on BlockFi. That's where I hold the majority of my cryptocurrency that's not on another app. So I have basically two apps that I specifically use to get interest on cryptocurrencies, and BlockFi is one of them.